Today, I'll show you the most robust EA I've ever traded. 5 charts, 3 currency pairs, both default and custom settings, all profitable. I'm surprised by how consistent it's been across every setup I've tested. Whether it's running on a demo or a live account, it handles volatility better than most robots I've seen. In this video, I'll show you exactly how it performs, how I've configured it, and why I think the Dark Nova EA deserves a spot in any Forex portfolio. Before I show you the results, I have a quick favor to ask. Our analytics show that most people who watch our videos aren't subscribed. YouTube just recommends them to you. If you haven't yet, please take a moment to check. It's free and it helps us keep testing robots, running live accounts, and sharing everything with you. Your support lets us continue finding the best EAs. Thanks. Let's dive in. So let's start by taking a look at the 3 accounts where I have this running. So the first one I'm going to show you is my demo account. Now, what I've done here is I have placed the EA onto the charts and I've used completely default settings. All right. So we can have a quick look at those. And what you'll see is that it is running with money management set to true. The risk factor is 5. There are a whole lot of other settings, but the important one that I want to show you is that it has the grid enabled and the grid is set to true. So the grid is enabled and we have a lot sum. So it's not strictly a martingale, but it will add to the position for recovery trades, but not as aggressively as a martingale. All right. The other things that we can take a quick look at is that our take profit or our take target on the default settings is 100 pips and the stop loss by default is set to true with a mandatory stop loss of 1,000. Now I haven't touched that, but obviously you can adjust that according to your needs, which I've done in the other accounts. Now the reason that I have 3 of them trading on a demo account is that I have this linked to FX Blue, and I'll just very quickly show that to you. I have it on this one right here, 3 pairs demo. And if we go to the stats and then we look at the currency, so let's go to symbol, what you'll see is that if we had set it according to the gross profit, you'll see that the AUD CAD is the most profitable. The other 2 are also profitable, but primarily the AUD CAD is the most profitable. So what I'm doing with that account is that I am monitoring the performance using FX Blue. And then what I have on a second account is the best pair, right? So this is my best pair. You can see this trading AUD CAD on the N15 and again, default settings. And what we can see is that this EA has been trading for a little over 3 months and we have a net profit of 69, so just under $70, and this is a $200 account. So this is a profit of 35% in a relatively short period of time. So it's performing very well, and this is with default settings. The next account that I want to show you is the account that I'm trading with my own settings. So I have changed some of the settings, and that is this account here. Okay, on this one, I'm trading the New Zealand CAD on M30. However, I'm going to be changing that to M15, and I'm going to show that to you. Now, this is a $1,000 account, and again, I have been trading at very low risk. So let's take a look at the properties. What you'll see is that I have the money management set to false, and I was trading with 0.01 lots, and we're going to increase it to 0.03. I'm going to show that to you in a second. Okay, the other thing that we can look at is the grid settings, and what you'll see on the grid settings is that again the grid is enabled, but in this case I've got it set to a fixed grid, so it's not going to add to the position with bigger lot sizes. It's going to keep the lot sizes the same size. And if we look at all of our trades, you can see that that's exactly what's happened. As I said, I had this set to 0.01, and you can see that every single order that has executed so far has been with 0.01. Before I show you the backtest and what I'm going to be changing on this account, let's quickly go back to our FX Blue, and that is on this one, the Dark Nova 1K Live. You can see very steady growth, but the growth has been quite slow because we are trading it with such low risk on a $1,000 account. You can see that our total return is just over 5%, which is still pretty decent, but the monthly return is 1.2%, and that's a little bit lower than what we aim for. We are going for 2 to 3%. 2% is a minimum, 3% is great. In order to achieve that, based on the performance that I've seen so far, we can have a look at the equity again, and what you'll see is that it sits very, very close to the balance line. It basically sticks to it completely. So no real drawdowns to speak of and a very stable EA. However, I want to reach that 2%. So what I did was I went back to the settings, and the only thing that I changed was the lot size. So let's run a quick backtest, and I'm going to show you something else. So currently it's trading on M30, and I've run backtests on both M15 and M30. And what I actually found was that the results were slightly better on M15. So let's run a backtest. And what we're going to do is we're going to run it from the beginning of last year up until basically this weekend. Today is Sunday. Going to put a delay of around 10 milliseconds. We're going to do every tick just for this particular test. You can see that our balance is 1,000. Our leverage is 1 to 100. And if we go to the inputs, I am using the set file that I created for this EA, but I've increased the loss to 0.03. So let's start the backtest and see together what the results are. Okay, so the backtest is finished, and you can see that we do have a number of relatively small drawdowns. We're going to look at the stats in a second, but you can see that we do have steady growth. Now, don't be too concerned about what we see here. This just means that there are some trades that are still open and they need to close. Keep in mind that these drawdowns are a little bit bigger than they would have been on 0.01 because, as you saw, we changed it to 0.03 lots. If we go to the backtest report, and what you can see is that we have an equity drawdown of just over 30%, and we have growth of a total net profit of $775. So let's call it about 75%. So we're looking at about 36-37% a year, which is 3% a month, which is actually exactly what we're looking for. And as long as the maximum recorded drawdown is below 50%, this is exactly what we're looking for. Those are exactly the parameters and the goals that we're looking for. 2 to 3% a month with a drawdown of under 50%. So I'm very comfortable to trade this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my chart and I'm going to set this to M15. It's currently on M30. I'm going to set that to M15. That's really all I have to do. And the EA will continue trading tomorrow when the markets open. Now, you may have noticed that all three of these accounts that I've shown you are with IC Markets. And that's one of the reasons for the results. Now, IC Markets is one of the biggest brokers in the world, very well regulated. Of course, they've got incredible trading conditions. You can see that you can get leverage depending on where you are in the world of up to 1 to 1,000, which can be high risk, but can also help you. So depending on your trading style, your goals, and your risk tolerance, this can be quite useful. They have more trading instruments than I would know what to do with. But the most important thing to look at is that they are regulated, of course, and that if you look, they have more than 3.5 million trades per day. That is actually more than most brokers will do in a year. Not only that, they have their servers in the Equinix NY4 data center, which is very well equipped and very fast, so and very important for execution speeds. But what is awesome is that 60% of all trades on their platforms are Algo. So this broker in particular is very well suited to Algo trading. If you want to learn more about IC Markets, Petko actually recorded a podcast recently, and if you haven't watched it yet, I would encourage you to watch it. It's very interesting. There's some really good information in there, and I will link to it down below in the description. Now, lastly, let's take a quick look at the Dark Nova, the robot that we've been talking about, and you can see that it is part of the Dark EAs, and it's the newest one. Now, the cost of this EA is $499, so you're paying about $100 per license because this gives you 5 flexible licenses. If you want to go for 10 licenses, depending on how many you want to trade, it's $700 for 10 licenses. Now, importantly, that account where I have 3 charts, the demo account, that is not 3 licenses, that is 1 license. So 5 licenses for most people would be enough. It is slightly more expensive than the other Dark EAs, but based on the results, it is 100% worth it in my opinion. We can quickly look at the vendor's track record as well, and he's on my FX book. And what we can see is that we have really good growth. So this account is about a year old. This is a live account, and it is trading all 3 of the recommended currency pairs with the default settings. You can see massive growth in the account. What we can also see is that the live update check is enabled, meaning that this is accurate and this has not been manipulated at all. So this is probably trading slightly higher risk on a smaller account, but it is still using the default settings, and you can see it's doing very well. There have been a few small drawdowns. You can see 37%, so it is quite accurate to what we saw on our backtest. And what we can also have a look is you can see that every month this year has been profitable. If we go back to 2024, there was just 1 month there, and that is profitable as well. So this year has been profitable every month that it has traded, and their results do match those that I have in in my accounts. So definitely one of my favorite EAs currently to trade, and just based on my own demo testing and live trading, I definitely believe that this is an EA that I will use in many more accounts in the future. Also, if you do want to purchase it, I will leave a link with a 10% discount coupon down below, so it will cost you even less. So at this stage, it's fair to say that this EA is very robust, and the plan is to test it on more assets because I believe the strategy will work on more than the recommended pairs. As mentioned, I'll leave a link to the EA with a coupon code, to IC markets, and the track records of these and the rest of our live and funded accounts. If you have any experience with this EA or have any questions, please let me know down in the comments. I answer all questions personally. As always, thanks for watching, trade safe, and I'll see you soon.